Take a deep breath in. And on the outward breath, allow your eyelids to close. That's right. As you breathe in and breathe out, just give permission to yourself to relax the muscles around your eyes. Notice that as you breathe in and breathe out, any tension around your neck and your shoulders, to begin with, just observe it. And then give permission to that tension to gradually leave your body in your outward breath. I want you to scan your body for any feelings of tension. And if we define tension as an echo of a time where something was useful, tension is needed to create facial expressions. Tension is needed to move your arms and your legs. But here, sitting, relaxed, listening to the sound of my voice, that tension isn't needed now. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a vibrant, bright color that represents resourceful relaxation. As you breathe in, imagine that glowing color of resourceful relaxation going in through your nose, going into your lungs, giving you a sense that you're feeling more resourceful, but also feeling more relaxed. Then as you exhale, notice that what leaves your body is a darker color, representing the tension, the stress or anxiety that you're releasing from your body. And exhales, see it darker as it leaves your body, meaning that just by breathing, you're able to go deeper and deeper, relaxed. Now, I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a bubble. A giant bubble. You remember perhaps playing with bubbles as a child, and I want you to imagine a life-size bubble close to you. I want you to imagine how you would feel if you walked inside that bubble and the bubble was strong enough for you to walk through the tension of the bubble, go inside. And I want you to imagine that anything inside the bubble is invisible. You can observe the outside world through the bubble. And imagine that you're standing inside the bubble and the bubble starts to levitate, to float upwards. Imagine that you are in the bubble. The bubble is strong, but you can still breathe inside. In fact, you're breathing that resourceful feeling of relaxation. And this bubble can take you backwards and forwards in time. I want you to imagine feeling the surface of the bubble from the inside. And maybe it has a feeling of almost like the tension of the surface of water, but amplified. Maybe it wobbles as you touch it, but it doesn't break. But I want you to get a sense that there is separation from the outside world and you inside the bubble as you continue to breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation and exhaling tension, and the tension leaves the bubble, meaning that you're getting more and more relaxed in that bubble. And imagine the bubble floating up. This bubble can pass through walls, ceilings, and it can go backwards in time. And I want you to imagine floating all the way back in time, all the way back to when perhaps you were just 4 or 5 years old. Remember, you're invisible in the bubble. Nobody can see the bubble or you, but you can see the world. And I want you to observe a time where you were just 4 or 5 years old, communicating to one or both of your parents that you had pains in your tummy. I want you to observe as they perhaps seem to be dismissive, making it no big deal. I want you to see the expression on that face of you of being 4 or 5 years old, needing help and not getting that help. And if you could imagine that memory as if you're observing it through the bubble, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to follow that small child. Maybe they go to their bedroom. Maybe they go to a little cubby house out in the garden. And when you can see that they're alone, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to see their facial expressions, see that they are dealing with a lot at a young age, trying to piece together a strange dilemma for a child to be in. They're in pain, but the people that they've asked for help either don't believe them or have dismissed the validity of that pain. Just observe as a small child tries to figure out, do they need to get help from someone else? Do they have to just tolerate the pain and deal with it? Observe that they look helpless, perhaps lost, confused. And then when you're ready, it's time to leave the bubble, but you will leave the bubble with all the knowledge you have at your current age, but you will appear to this child to be someone just 1 or 2 years older than they are. And then when you're ready, leave the bubble and just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to say hello to them, and they look surprised because they're not expecting anyone to be around. I want you to ask if something's wrong. And maybe they're reluctant to share. So I want you to tell them a story of a time where you felt some pain and nobody believed you, but you found a friend just a few years older and they believed you, and that by talking about that pain, somehow that made it better. And as you tell that child that story, they start to relax and they start to tell you about their pain. And I want you to encourage them to tell you everything, where it is, how long it's been going on for. I want you to just listen. I want you to tell them that pain is like the weather. It always changes. And even though it's painful now, in the same way that there can be sunny days and rainy days, there can be storms, and there can be mild spring weather and beautiful days. I want you to let this small child know that you know their life. I want you to give them a sense that although it feels bad, it won't last forever. Just like the seasons and just like the weather, it will change. I want you to let this child know that you care about them. They might be confused as to why you care, but just tell them that you feel like you know them. You can relate to their experiences. I want you to let this child know that you feel like an older sibling that really cares. And ask this younger version of you if they would like. Perhaps an older sister that really cares. And if they would, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to just ask what else is going on in their world. Just be there to listen. What do they like? What's their favourite toys? What are their worries? What are their concerns? What do they like to do? And then I want you to let them know that you have a gift for them. And that gift is going to be something that will help them throughout their entire childhood. The gift isn't a physical gift. The gift is a resource that you know that they will need. When all of their beliefs are being questioned, maybe you can give them the gift of self-belief. Maybe you give them the gift of love. Because if there is an absence of love around, maybe they need that self-love from within. Maybe you give them the gift of strength. So when they feel helpless, they feel that they've got the strength to get through that period. I want you to give them whatever gift you feel that they need most in this moment. But give them that gift in the form of a glowing ball of light. Tell them this gift is medicine, that it will help them, not just with the tummy pains, but it will help them through their entire life. I want you to imagine that child version of you taking that gift and just placing it there on their tummy, and the light starts to glow inside their tummy, as you now know that that resource that they really needed, they now have. And tell them that the pains in the tummy will go away. And look at the surprise on their face as they do. They start to smile. And I want you to tell this child that you will be there for them whenever they need someone to talk to or someone to help. And if this small child feels that that would be useful, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to give this child a hug. Tell them you'll see them soon. And now it's time to go away, go back in your bubble. Feel the bubble floating up. And then go forwards in time to a time where you see yourself now as 7 years old. I want you to observe yourself again, having a moment of you seeing yourself perhaps sad, in pain, perhaps lonely or even scared. And when you found yourself at the right moment, just let me know by nodding your head. Just observe what happens until you see that version of you, that 7-year-old version of you, by yourself. And when you've seen yourself alone, in private, again it's time to leave the bubble, but you will leave the bubble. Again, just 1 or 2 years older than the age that you are then. And notice how happy they are to see you. I want you to give them a hug. And I want you to ask how they are. And when they attempt to just give you some general, I'm fine, tell them you know they're not fine and that it's okay not to be fine. Ask them what's really going on in their world, and then just listen. Listen to the concerns that you had back then, the frustrations, the worries. Just listen. Be the person you would have loved to have had back then to share your thoughts with. And notice that the facial expression of that 7-year-old version of you is already starting to change just by communicating something to someone that cares, someone that listens, someone that believes them is so important. And then ask if there's anything you can do to help. And then listen. And maybe the way in which you can help is by giving them some wisdom or advice that will help them in this moment, but will also help them because you know what happens to their life after this point. So the wisdom or advice that you can give them is exactly the wisdom and advice that they will need more than anything else. And when you're ready to give them that advice, that wisdom, let me know by nodding your head. And then share it with them. Share it with them and then give them examples of how to use this wisdom or advice in the very specific situations that you know they will encounter in the following months and years following this interaction. And in doing so, you're helping them to cope with situations that they just didn't know how to cope with. A way of breathing, a way of processing thoughts, a way of communicating with other people or yourself or anything else. Share all the wisdom and advice that a child of this age would have needed. And if you would have had that advice back then, it would have helped you so much. But also, that 7-year-old child has something to give to you. Something powerful, useful, and resourceful that they had in abundance back then. Something you could do with now. And maybe it's a powerful imagination. Maybe it's playfulness. Maybe it's something else, but I want them to now give you the gift. A glowing ball of energy, something that you had in the past that you've lost connection with, something that you could do with now, that will improve your life in the present when you return. And when they hand you that glowing ball of energy again, take it from them, place it there on you, and feel that you're absorbing that resource, that thing that you used to have in abundance, and now that you can reconnect with it, feel how good it feels to reconnect with that resource. Ask this child if there's anything else they need or want. And if they're ready for you to leave, just let me know by nodding your head. And then give them a hug. Tell them that you love them, that you care, that you want the very best for them, and that you believe them. And then I want you to give them one final thing, and that is a necklace. And tell them that whenever they touch that necklace, they can reconnect with you, and you will come floating back in that invisible bubble, and you will talk to them whenever they want. And look at the joy on their face that they now know that they've got someone to talk to whenever they need. Then you give them another hug and you say goodbye and you climb back into that bubble. And then I want you to go forwards in time, perhaps to a time when you were 12 years old, where you felt totally helpless. A time where you were walking on eggshells, eager to not upset someone, not bother someone. And when you can see yourself perhaps at that period of time, maybe in a bedroom or a bathroom, just let me know by nodding your head. And it's time to leave the bubble. And again, you see their surprised face, but they're smiling, they're glad that you're there. Again, you're just a year or two older than them as how they see you, but you know that you've got a whole lifetime of experience, of their experience. You know what they go through, and therefore you're able to give them everything that they need because you know what they need more than anyone else. And maybe they're trying to deal with the problem in a way that you know isn't effective. So I want you to help them in a way that would actually help. Teach them things they don't know yet. And in doing so, notice that feelings of pain, feelings of overwhelm start to disappear. Again, just listen to them. Whatever problems they're facing, whatever worries they have, tell them that you are there to listen. If you can help, you will, but tell them that you're just happy to listen to them, that you believe what they're saying, that you're there for them. And if they start to feel better just by telling you about their world and their reality, just let me know by nodding your head. I want you to let them know that it's okay to be true to yourself. And perhaps there is pressure, control, guidance to steer their life in a particular way. But I want you to tell this 12-year-old version of you, this girl that's on the brink of becoming a woman, that she can be herself. She can follow her path. She can live the life that she wants to live. And I want you to give her courage. The courage perhaps that you wish that you had back then. The courage to find your own path. The courage to believe your own words. The courage to fight for the life that you want. As you give her that courage, notice that she has some advice for you. I want you to listen to that advice, that wisdom. I want you to get a sense that sometimes when we think about the past differently, ripples go through time and update our experience of our present and our future. We can't change the past, but we can change how we think about the past, and we can change the meanings that we give to different times in our life that echo throughout time and can change the present. I want you to tell this 12-year-old girl that you love her, that you'll always be there for her, and then to reveal that actually you are her from the future, and therefore you know her better than anyone else. That you will be there at a moment's notice if she ever needs any help, and she can never truly be alone. when she knows that you will always be there for her. Give her a hug, say goodbye, go back into that bubble, and then float over the sequence of events that happens after that. See this child with more confidence, sticking up for herself, perhaps better able to manage her own physical and mental health, and follow that timeline, seeing a more resourceful, resilient, courageous woman, and then follow that all the way up to the present until you're observing yourself exactly as you are, but seeing a more resourceful version of yourself. It's still you, but with more resources, more self-belief, more self-love, more courage, more inner strength. And then leave that bubble and walk into yourself firmly in the present right now, reconnecting with all those wonderful resources that mean that life is still life, but you're a more resourceful version of you taking on that life. What if the past was a blessing to prepare you for challenging times? I want you to get a sense that you are unlocking all of the resources necessary to live life in a more resourceful way. And if your unconscious mind accepts, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that you're in your own physical body right now. And very soon, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken with a reconnection to the positive qualities of your past, but feeling that you've updated and resolved many of those things that were causing issues in your present life. I want you to get a sense that you are worthy, you are loved, and you are capable. As I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.